Sydney McLaughlin is being hailed as the future of track and field.
Over this, we're watching a once-in-a-generation athlete performing at the peak of her powers, and it is a new world record. She has smashed the world record.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, Sydney set the world record in women's 400-meter hurdles after the sprint to the finish at the U.S. Olympic trials. Wow.
How could she be that far clear from the second and third fastest athletes ever?
Everyone knows her. American hurdler and sprinter Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, who competes in the 400-meter hurdles, is known for her achievements on and off the track. So yes, everyone knows her for sure. Because of this, what she recently did sent people across the globe in a shock. But first, let's talk about who Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is. On the track, Sydney is a superstar. That's the word most suited to describe her. Why? Well, if you didn't know already, but you should have, is that she's a two-time Olympic champion, three-time world champion, one-time championship silver medalist, one-time youth champion, three-time Diamond League meeting winner, one-time NCAA champion, two-time national champion, and one-time Diamond Trophy winner. Mind you, those are just some of her major achievements. What's more, she's the current world record holder in the 400-meter hurdles, as well as the current NACAC record holder for the same event. So far in her career, she once held and currently holds a total of 4 world records. Yeah, only 4. Please note the emphasis on 4. At the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, Sydney won 2 Olympic gold medals, one for the 400-meter hurdles and another for the 4x400-meter relay, as well as a dominating world record.
And the United States will have a sizable lead on the third, but watch for Poland. They've got 2 brilliant third and fourth leg runners. There goes Dalilah Muhammad. She was second in the 400 hurdles.
While many are pleasantly surprised by this, there are those who kind of expected it. Why? Some think that since Sydney has the genes of athletes' parents, she has perhaps been born to be an athlete as well. Well, it's pretty obvious now, isn't it? Listen to this. Her dad, Willie, was a semi-finalist in the 400-meter in the 1984 Olympic trials, while her mom was also a runner, and her brother got silver in the 400-meter hurdles at the 2016 IAAF World U20 Championships. This family surely loves to run, but Sydney has outrun them all, pun intended, when she earned as an Olympic gold medalist and 400-meter world record holder. Voted the World Athletics Female Athlete of the Year in 2022, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone broke her own world record in the 400-meter hurdles event to win gold at the 2022 World Championships in Oregon in a time of 50.68 seconds, breaking her previous mark by 0.73 seconds. When it comes to racing, the record hurdler has a simple approach. For me, it's kind of just focusing on myself and making sure I'm doing everything possible to be successful. However, she admitted that she wasn't always committed to winning. Apparently, her dad had to resort to bribing her with chocolate bars so she would run. At age 6, enticed by her parents' reward of a chocolate bar if she won, Sydney finished first in the local 100-meter race near their New Jersey home. And since it worked, this became a pattern. Despite training on a triangle-shaped high school track, she became an Olympian at 16 and owned the national prep record. That said, at age 16, she made the headlines by becoming the youngest sprinter to make the U.S. Olympic track and field team since 1972. It only went better from there. In fact, Sydney's race was billed as one to watch in the build-up to Tokyo 2020, where she emerged triumphant. She did not only win the gold, but also broke the elusive 52-second barrier with an astonishing time of 51.46. "I'm absolutely delighted," the newly crowned champion said. "What a great race. I'm just grateful to be out there celebrating that extraordinary race and representing my country." And that wasn't the only thing Sydney celebrated that year. After winning a gold medal, Sydney earned a ring. Yeah, she added another milestone to her memorable year with an engagement to her boyfriend, Andre Levrone Jr. She shared this joyous news through an Instagram post, which she addressed to her future husband. She said, "I truly did not know the definition of love until I met you. A sacrificial choice to lay down your life for the well-being of another. With that being said, there's no one I'd rather lay down my life for." Not only did her career and love take off splendidly, but Tag Heuer also proudly announced American track and field prodigy Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone as one of its brand ambassadors. On their website, Tag Heuer refers to Sydney as a legend. Few athletes share her outstanding ability to overcome the intense pressure of adversity from the starting blocks to the finish line. On and off the track, the record-breaking athlete has shown tremendous potential, using her voice to advocate issues that she believes in. A legend is on the rise. Sydney is not only one of track and field's most dominant and recognizable stars, but also its least known poet. Yes, you heard that right. She would race, and so would her mind. And so she opened her laptop or her phone's notes app and typed what she was feeling.
I'm doing something and I have thoughts that come into my mind and I want to write down on paper. I'll just write them in my notes and then sometimes I'll come back to them and finish the poem. So it's really random. I don't have time or a schedule where I sit down and write it.
Reading her words, sometimes weeks later, helped her feel she could better understand herself. There's so much, whether it's through social media or just everyday life, where it's bottled up, she said in an interview. I love poetry, just being able to kind of relieve all of that. It's quite a surprise to know that someone as athletic as Sydney has a hobby that's not physical, in a sense. Writing and running are total opposites, you know, but still somehow makes sense though.
Poetry, to me, is just a release of whatever's going on mentally and being able to kind of share that with people closest to me, so.
In an interview, Sydney shared that through her poetry, she sometimes writes to her 6-year-old self, who has dreams and aspirations to be where she is right now. And sometimes it's about her faith, her relationship with her husband, or even just track in general.
You know, there shouldn't be any fear that comes along with that because that's a beautiful blessing to have. But I always make sure that I am using it properly and making sure that the example that I set is one that, you know, others actually can follow.
At 23, McLaughlin-Levrone is better known for authoring what is already one of track and field's most impressive resumes: Olympic and World Championship gold medals in the 400-meter hurdles, the event whose world record she has reset 4 times in the span of 13 months, including her latest record-breaking run in last year's World Championships in Oregon, where her 50.68 clocking made her the first woman to dip underneath the punishing event's once unconquerable 51-second barrier. However, news of the 400-meter hurdle world record holder jumping ships, so to speak, has been circulating the web these days. Although Sydney wants to continue pushing the limits of the event even after breaking the 400-meter hurdles world record an incredible 4 times, she's also eyeing forays into the 400-meter flat and 100-meter hurdles. Sydney herself shared that she's mulling whether to continue running the 400 hurdles, double up with a second race, or move on from her signature event and focus on another while attempting to replicate her dominance. What came as a shock to people, though, was when Sydney announced that she would no longer compete at the May 27 meet in UCLA, citing the decision of her coach, Bobby Kersee. Kersee, the iconic sprints coach who is serving as a co-organizer of the Grand Prix, did not respond to messages seeking comment. Regrettably, I won't be competing in the LA Grand Prix due to my coach's decision, McLaughlin-Levrone said in a statement issued through her agent. I trust his judgment, and I will be cheering on my fellow athletes. Excited to see my fans. Thanks for your support. What are your thoughts about this? The Los Angeles Grand Prix on May 27th is one of the highly anticipated events of the year. With a group of star athletes set to participate in the championship, it created a lot of buzz in the track and field world. However, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone withdrawing her name from the championship put an abrupt stop to the hype surrounding the event. In fact, some considered this to be a terrible news, as fans on social media did not entertain the news well. Did you? Still, Sydney's coach, Bob Kersee, said that she will race one individual event at Worlds in Budapest, as the schedule is not conducive to attempting a 400-meter to 400-meter hurdles double. The plan is to decide between the 2 individual events after USATF Outdoors, assuming she qualifies in the 400-meter by finishing in the top 3 there. Sydney has a bye into the 400-meter hurdles at Worlds as defending champion, meaning she does not have to race at the event at USATF Outdoors in Eugene, Oregon. Many athletes with buys race complementary events at USATF's Outdoors, which makes the plan for Sydney to run the flat 400-meter unsurprising, especially given her comments last year that she wanted to add it to her repertoire without giving up the 400-meter hurdles. Notably, Sydney has never raced the flat 400-meter at a top-level championship meet, but her 400-meter split in the women's 4x100-meter relay at last July's Worlds was the world's second fastest in the last 33 years. Kersee also confirmed that Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone could race both the mixed gender and 4x400 meters and the women's 4x400 meter at Worlds, in addition to her individual event. Kersee also said that another one of his pupils, Olympic and World 800-meter champion Athing Mu, could do both relays, according to the report. If that ends up happening, McLaughlin-Levrone and Mu could bid to become the first track and field athlete to win 3 gold medals in a single Worlds since Usain Bolt, who did so in 2009, 2013, and 2015, and the first woman to do so since Shelly Ann Fraser-Price in 2013. The last Americans to do so were Allison Felix and Tyson Gay in 2007. That's definitely something to look forward to. Let's hope Sydney is prepared, both mentally and physically, for this.
I think your mental is what helps your physical to perform at its highest level. And it starts in the mind and what you tell yourself and where your headspace is at.
And speaking of someone who's prepared to take on the world, make sure to watch this to see how Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce is going out of control.